I'm going to call this meeting to order, and we'll move down to approval of the agenda. 2.1, changes to agenda and approval of the agenda, and we did have one change. Consent agenda added item 8.25, budget amendment to the grant award agreement between Triumph Gulf Coast Incorporated and the School Board of Okaloosa County, Florida, to develop artificial intelligence machine learning institutes to begin in the 2022 through 2023 school year, previously approved by the school board on July 26, 2021. And with that change, I need a motion to approve the agenda.
Move it.
Dr. White makes a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Dr. Kelly. Any discussion? Hear none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The motion carries 5-0. So now we are to recognitions, section 3.1, recognition of Niceville High School Eaglettes Dance Team State Champions 2022 Universal Dance Association Florida Championships, Small Varsity Hip Hop Division, and Small Varsity Jazz Division. And Mr. Chambers, I'll turn it over to you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Bryant, School Board. It is an absolute honor to have the Niceville High School dance team here with us today. And before we talk about some of the accolades, I want to take a step back and talk about some of the things that might not be as glorified. And I think if you drive by Niceville High School in the summer, you'll see these young ladies and others who are out working out, putting in the hard work, that grit. And when you win state championships, and especially when you win state championships 4 years in a row, there's a culture that's created. And it's a culture of hard work, determination, and doing what you need to do on the dance floor and in the classroom. And that's something that I hope you ladies always keep in mind. The things that you're learning as you go through the dance team, as you go through schooling, is about the lessons of hard work and determination that's going to stay with you as you go forward through high school, as you go forward into college, wherever it is that you may go. So I also want to share just a few of the actual details, because this is pretty neat. Like Mr. Bryant said, this was the Universal Dance Association Florida Dance Championships, and it occurred in January. And for the first time in the school's history, they double-titled, and the Eaglettes won first place in small varsity jazz, and they won first place in small varsity hip-hop. They also received a specialty award, Most Crowd Appeal, for their hip-hop routine. And I think 4 years in a row, setting a standard. And like we said on Thursday, this dance team is indicative of the dance teams and cheer teams that we have here in Okaloosa County that do an absolutely fantastic job, and we could not be more proud of Niceville High School. So Coach, if you would come forward first, and Principal Morello, if you'd come forward, I think that you all might also have a few words to say.
So yes, like Mr. Chambers said, we appreciate that, recognizing the hard work of these girls, but I don't want to, like Mr. Bryant said coming in, this is almost become an old hat, you know, Niceville win state dance championships, but I don't want to minimize that because there are so many variables and so many differences and nuances in every year. So I don't want to take for granted and say, oh, it's Niceville, they win the state dance championship, because it is difficult to finish on top any year, let alone to do it every year. But let me do this, go ahead first. I like to do things with seniors because it's important. So would Libby, Haley, Parker, and London come on down here first for just 1 second? So these four seniors, let me explain what these four girls have done in their time at the Niceville High School Eaglet dance team. They've won 5 state championships. We were in high school for 4 years. How can you win 5 state championships? We got tired of winning Florida, so we jumped state lines and went to Alabama and won a dance championship over there as well. I don't understand how we got entered into that, but whatever, we won it. First time ever to make jazz national finals. Highest placement in the history of dance at Niceville High School in nationals. Double state titles for the first time in school history that these four seniors were a part of. So you talk about legacy, what these four girls have kind of done and left behind for that underclassmen group to look forward to. There's a phrase that we use a lot at Niceville High School, and it's called a tradition of excellence. And in order to establish a tradition of excellence, you have to be very, very good over a long period of time. And that's what these four girls have been a part of. So thank you for kind of setting that standard and keeping that tradition of excellence going at Niceville High School. And now, we'll bring up the rest of the dance girls. Mr. Chambers, is that okay, or
Unless Ms. Craig has.
Coach, okay?
Well, one thing that I wanted to say that hasn't, I don't think it's been mentioned, but our team GPA is a 4.3, which I think is to be noted because we do practice a lot and they're very dedicated. So for the team average GPA to be a 4.3, I think that's exceptionally terrific. And we also have 3 girls that have a 4.6 or higher. And that's London, Bailey Tate, that's in the back, and Kaylee 3 right here. So I'm super proud of that because it's important to me that not only are they great athletes, which they all are, but they're exceptional in the classroom as well. So, and then we also have London here that just won state for DYW. So,
Hey.
but anyways, I'm just very proud of this group of girls. I just finished 12 seasons, and this is a group that I will never ever forget. They were amazing. So thank you to everybody, and thank you also to Mr. Morella because he supports us so well. And I just wanted to say that in front of everyone because I know that, as principals, you have a tough job. So I am so thankful for you.
Thank
so
you
thank
very
you
much.
for your
Thank you.
support. That's it.
All right.
All right, and we're gonna actually call out names individually. So just for 1 second, if you 4 could just come right over here for 1 second. And because we're gonna give you the honor that's due and have you come forward when your name is called. And Dr. Kelly, if you'd join me.
Okay. Autumn Eller Olson. London Taylor, Libby Marion. Parker Lee. Kaylee 3. Cardi Vance. Bailey Tate. Tatum England. Addie Karen. Ashley Culbertson. Annabeth Audison.
And before we're gonna take a picture in a second, and we're gonna assemble much better than this in 1 second.
So we have this award, Knoxville High School Dance Team 2022 State Champs. And we'll give this to you. Thank you.
Taller people in the back. She does.
Beautiful London. Just smart, poised, yeah, very classy. Good to see. All dressed very well.
And Coach Cragen, if y'all don't mind, I want to say something. This is on a personal, because I'm not your school board member. However, I've known Coach Cragen since actually before she was born, so her whole life. And she is an accomplished dancer in her own right. I watched her grow up dancing, and she was on the Indianette dance team at Choctaw and did a great job. So there's no wonder why she is such a superb coach. And I know this person's going to kill me for this, but Coach Cragen's mom, who's a very close friend of mine and a former teacher in our district, Jennifer Bufundo, is back there with the phone taking pictures, and we want to give her some credit because growing up, she and her sister were dancers, and it just keeps continuing. So thank you, Ms. Bufundo, and thank you, Coach Cragen, for all that you've done.
And Mr. Bryant, would you allow me to ad-lib for 1 second?
Sure.
I appreciate it. And now that that amazing recognition has been done, I do want to say what Coach Cragen alluded to a second ago, and we do have a statewide award winner for the Distinguished Young Women of Florida. So we have London Taylor, who, as we know, was our county winner, and now she is our state winner, the entire state of Florida. And she'll be competing nationally. And I told her she had to come up and give a 15-minute speech on what it means to be the. Are you ready, London? Okay. But congratulations.
So thank you, Mr. Chambers, and again, Mr. Morello, and to all of the Niceville High School Eaglettes, congratulations. I'm going to give you all a minute to step outside before we go on to our next. Yeah. I know y'all are excited to go out and celebrate.
Yeah.
And while they're leaving, I might just say that kudos also to the feeder schools whose dance teams feed this program. They do an
Absolutely.
excellent job as well.
Yep.
All right, so while they're walking out the door, I'm going to go ahead down to Section 5, Administrative Personnel Appointments. 5.1 is the appointment of Assistant Principal 2, 12-month, Shoal River Middle School, as recommended by the Superintendent for approval. Mr. Chambers?
Thank you, Mr. Bryant and School Board. At this time, I bring before you Mr. Ben Kimbrough. Mr. Kimbrough graduated from Fort Walton Beach High School in 1995 and went on to earn his bachelor's degree in 2000 from the University of West Florida. He earned his master's degree in educational leadership and policy studies from the University of Texas, Arlington in 2012. Mr. Kimbrough started his career in education in 2001 at Fort Walton Beach High School, teaching English for 1 year. He then moved to Brevard County to teach English and coach tennis. He returned to Okaloosa County in 2004 and began teaching English and coaching tennis at Crestview High School, and he has been with Crestview High School ever since. In 2014, Mr. Kimbrough moved from the classroom to work in discipline as the Dean of Students at Crestview High School, a job he has truly loved. He says he feels truly blessed to have been able to work with so many amazing faculty, staff, and administrators at Crestview over the years. Mr. Kimbrough has been married to Lisa for 16 years. She also is a teacher at Crestview, and they are members of Life Point Church. They have 6 awesome children: Kaylee, Seth, Emily, Asher, Olivia, and Kingston, and 2 adorable grandchildren, Emmerich and Lane. Mr. Kimbrough looks forward to working with another amazing faculty and staff at Shoal River to help the young Mustangs exceed expectations and prepare the future Bulldogs for success in high school and beyond. Mr. Kimbrough.
All right. And board members, with that, item 5.1 is the appointment of Assistant Principal 2, Mr. Ben Kimbrough, for 12-month at Shoal River Middle School, as recommended by the Superintendent for approval. Do I have a motion to accept this?
I'll move it.
Dr. Kelly makes a motion. Do I have a second, please?
I'll second it.
Second, Ms. Savanchek. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Congratulations, Mr. Kimbrough. No.
Thank you guys, especially Mr. Bryant, I've known you for years, and the board, I've known many of you through the years also. Mr. Chambers, thank you for this opportunity. Gentlemen, I've been in front of you guys a few times, and I appreciate this opportunity. Ma'am, thank you so much. Mr. Driver, thanks for giving me a shout about this one. I love it. Can't wait to start. And guys, I miss you.
All right.
Everybody smiling. 1, 2, 3, and good. All right, one more.
All right, we're going to wait just a minute and let the Kimbrough party dismiss. All right, so now we'll go down to section 6, and this is public comment. 6.1, members of the public desiring to address the school board, Form MIS 5241, public input and/or discussion of agenda items. Mr. McInnes, would you
Yes,
please
sir.
go over the rules?
Speakers tonight will be allowed 4 minutes of speaking time, and we'd ask that as you approach the podium that you state your name and address for the record before making your presentation. Remarks and statements should be addressed to the chairman when possible to do so, and by the board's procedures, personal attacks against officers or personnel should be excluded from your presentation or discussions, as items of personnel matters are the responsibility of the superintendent and not routinely heard before the school board. We would ask that visitors and speakers tonight at this meeting act in a respectful manner as you make your presentations. Thank you.
And Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a point. I believe it might be appropriate for this individual to make a full disclosure disclaimer as required by law, as they are a political office seeker.
Okay. And with that, we do have Mr. Gerald A. Buckman. If you would please come forward, sir. And I have your address here, but if you would just state your name for the record. And like Mr. McInnes said, you have 4 minutes to make your presentation.
Yes, sir. Jerry Buckman. School Board Chairman Bryant, school board members all, Superintendent Chambers. My name is Jerry Buckman. I've been a resident of Okaloosa County for 41 years. I'm a retired Air Force colonel and current substitute teacher in our school district. I'm here to present an issue of grave concern to myself and all residents that love America. On February the 10th, I was driving past Pryor Middle School and noticed the American flag was flying over the school in a grossly tattered condition. I stopped and asked to see the principal. She was unavailable, and an assistant principal and school resource officer met me. I guided them to view the torn flag, which was obviously raised and lowered in an unserviceable condition for many weeks. I expressed my strong displeasure with the gross disrespect demonstrated, and the assistant principal said a flag was on order. I strongly recommended a new flag be procured elsewhere that day, and that the unserviceable flag be retired immediately. A new flag was flying the next morning. Then on 23 February, I was substitute teaching at Meigs Middle School. While performing lunch monitor duty in the courtyard, I again noticed the American flag over that school in a tattered, unserviceable condition. An assistant principal was also monitoring the courtyard, and I called the flag to her attention. Her response, "What's wrong with it?" Instead of stating that she'll see to it the flag was replaced, she deflected about the number of students she's responsible for daily. Proper display of our American flag was not a priority for that administrator. A school resource officer was also in the courtyard, and he offered to help, but a replacement flag was not on premises. However, a new flag was flying the next day. 2 tattered flags flying over 2 separate schools in just 2 weeks. And that's among our school district with a heavy presence of active, retired, reserve, guard, civilian, and contractor warriors, all who demonstrated service and sacrifice for America. And to boot, we're treading through a very perilous time in American history when our nation's schools are the major battleground for the future of our country. A tattered flag over our schools sends a grave message. The American flag has flown over battlefields since the birth of our country. To many of us, there's no excuse for flying an unserviceable flag over a public school. Now, I'm certain both instances were not intentional disrespect. We instead have a major issue with a lack of American values education and emphasis among students, some faculty, some administrators, and right here where the buck stops for the most senior level of supervision and oversight. I have 2 solutions for your consideration. First, I recommend all leaders inspect their school flags outside and in every classroom for serviceability and proper display. Second, I'll be glad to organize volunteers from the Warrior class I mentioned above, partnering with junior ROTC when feasible, to teach our students at school assemblies on flag etiquette, the meaning of the Pledge of Allegiance, the national anthem, service, sacrifice, and other elements of American patriotism. We are blessed to have some of our nation's most elite warriors right here. Okaloosa County can set a patriotic example for our state and for America. I'm ready to begin immediately and will serve as the point of contact to whomever you assign the task. Recently, when subbing in a 2nd grade classroom, the teacher had the words to our national anthem posted on her wall. Recess was held indoors that day due to rain. I took the opportunity to arrange the students facing the flag with hands on hearts, and I led them in singing our national anthem. Their enthusiasm and effort made my day. Teaching this generation of kids here and across America to honor and respect our country must be made a priority. If it's not, the day will come when no flag or another flag flies over our schools. It's not far-fetched to me. And if that happens, we've lost our country. This concludes my remarks. Thank you for listening.
All right. Thank you, sir.
And Chairman Bryant, I have a couple of remarks
Yes,
I'd like
sir.
to make.
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Buckman, I believe that you are a candidate for school board. Is that correct?
That is correct, sir.
Right. And of course, you're running. Who are you running against?
I think you know that, Dr. White.
I do know that,
I'm running
but
against
I'm
you.
asking you. That's right. And that was a disclaimer that I thought would have been appropriate for you to have made at the beginning of your remarks. But there are some things I think that I need to say now, given the political aspect of some of this. That I am a son and a son-in-law of veterans, one who was highly decorated for gallantry in combat. I have dear friends who were POWs and who supported me and support me now. And so the flag, Mr. Buckman, this is something that you and I will agree on, is very important to me. I lost an uncle in the Philippines during World War II. My grandmother is a Gold Star mom, and I know you know what that means. So when I was a principal, raising and lowering our flag was very important to me. And I was fortunate that I worked with some retired military folks that felt the same way and helped me in the way that you're proposing with junior ROTC. But let's get back to business. Mr. Buckman, did you notify the superintendent of this matter?
I did not notify the superintendent of this matter. I notified the school principals.
Right. But someone did say that you posted this material on Facebook, and I think you referred to the remarks that you made about district employees. Is that right?
District employees?
I think you said assistant
Specifically
principal.
this administrator, absolutely.
Right. And are you aware, Mr. Buckman, that employees of the school district report to the superintendent and not the school board?
As a substitute teacher, not necessarily. I thought I would handle it right at the school level. And I'd also like to say this. I'm not here tonight as candidate Buckman.
I
I'm here
understand.
tonight as concerned citizen Jerry Buckman.
I understand you're saying that. Mr. Chambers, when did I notify your office of these matters, and that would include your deputy superintendent?
An exact date, not off the top of my head, but probably a couple weeks ago.
Right. And that was when I first found out about the flags. And Mr. Buckman, you aspire to sit on this school board, and so I ask, are you familiar with the Florida laws governing Florida's public schools? Have you read them?
I don't think this is time for a campaign moment, not at all. You can
Okay.
ask me that in another forum.
And
I'm
I
just
will.
here to present my issue.
I will. I
which has to-
understand.
You do understand?
Yes, sir, but I'm not quite finished. And this will be helpful to, I think, the members of the public and those that are watching, and will be helpful to maybe some other folks that might aspire to sit on this school board. Mr. McInnes, would you discuss school district personnel and the role of the superintendent according to statute and state law?
Yes, sir. The division of responsibilities between the school board and the superintendent, a primary area of that is in the management of personnel. The personnel of the district report through their chain of command to the superintendent. They do not report directly to the school board. The superintendent by statute has all authority to manage those personnel and to make recommendations to the school board in certain instances. But the school board's role is to receive recommendations from the superintendent, not to manage personnel on a day-to-day basis.
And so it would be accurate that school board members do not direct the activities of school district employees?
That's correct.
All right, thank you. And then I guess the last thing, Mr. Superintendent, would be if you might discuss what measures that you or your staff have taken to remedy this terrible situation.
Absolutely. I first of all want to start off by saying I do appreciate you being here. I appreciate your comments. I know that myself, and I think I can speak for our school board members, there's not a situation where we would want one of our flags that are flying that are not in pristine shape. You know, like you alluded to, you know, we live in a community that is heavily military, and that's something that we're extremely proud of, whether that be Eglin, whether that be Herbert, Duke Field, the 7 Special Forces, and so forth. So being a part of this community and knowing the importance of the American flag is tremendous. I would like to say that, you know, we've even gone a step further this year. You know, we have flags that are now posted on the walls of each of our schools as well, and that's how important it is to us. I do want to say my father was in the military for over 33 years, so I grew up in the military family, 18 years in that lifestyle. So this is extremely important to me. I did speak with our deputy superintendent upon finding out about this. We do not want any flags that are flying that are not pristine. So we have reached out to every principal. We have made sure that if a flag was not in good shape, that flag be replaced. And going forward, not only will we have flags that are being flown the right way, but also making sure that we have replacement flags that are on deck ready to go if need be. But again, I appreciate you being here, but I wouldn't want anyone to think that there is not 100% pride in our American flag, in our country, and what this flag stands for. And I think it's been made clear that, you know, these responsibilities, you know, in essence fall on me, and I take that seriously. So if we had some flags that were not being flown properly, for that I do apologize and want to make sure that going forward, we definitely display those flags in the manner in which that they should.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Chairman, may I make one more comment?
Yes, sir.
I would like to state for the record, I object to Dr. White turning this into a campaign event. This to me is a very personal matter and professional matter as well.
Okay, thank you. All right, you're dismissed, thank you. All right, so we will move down to Section 7, Committee and Staff Reports. This was workshop only. Section 8, Consent Agenda. 8.1 will be the approval of the consent agenda, so I need a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll move it.
Ms. Carter makes a motion. Do I have a second, please?
I'll second.
Second, Dr. Kelly. Any discussion? Hear none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries 5-0. So now we'll go down to Section 9, Superintendent's Human Resource Recommendations. 9.1 and 9.2 are information only, so we'll go down to 9.3, Employment Separations. I need a motion to approve, please.
I'll move it.
Ms. Vancheck makes a motion. Do I have a second, please?
I'll second.
Second, Ms. Gardner. Any discussion? Hear none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the motion carries 5-0. 9.4, Personnel Recommendations. Need a motion to approve, please.
Move it.
Dr. White makes a motion. Do I have a second, please?
Second.
Second, Ms. Gardner. Any discussion? Hear none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries 5-0. 9.5, Employee Transfers. I need a motion to approve.
I'll move it.
Motion by Dr. Kelly, excuse me. Do I have a second, please?
I'll second it.
Okay.
Go ahead, Dr.
Second,
White.
Dr. White. Any discussion? Hear none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries 5-0. Let me get some water here real quick. My mouth just getting dry.
Me too.
9.6, Reinstatement. Thank you. Reinstatement, reimbursement of sick leave due to line of duty illness, injury, medical examination. I need a motion to approve.
I'll move it.
Ms. Vancheck makes a motion. Do I have a second, please?
Second.
Second, Ms. Gardner. Any discussion? Hear none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries 5-0. 9.7, leave without pay. I need a motion to approve.
I'll move it.
Excuse me, Dr. Kelly makes a motion. Do I have a second, please?
Second.
Second, Dr. White. Any discussion? Hear none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries 5-0. Section 10 is discussion agenda. We had no items moved from the consent agenda. Section 11 is construction program owners representatives business. And 11.1, I'll turn it over to the Honorable Dr. Diane Kelly.
And we had our full report at our last meeting, and we'll have our next one after our next construction committee meeting, which will be next Monday.
Okay. And we do have 4 items to vote on tonight, so we'll start with 11.2, program number 6, task order number 5, letter of completion, time and materials, task order emergency remedial efforts, both design and construction for repairs to Joe Etheridge Stadium at Choctawhatchee High School. I need a motion to approve.
Move it.
Go ahead.
Ms. Gardner has the motion. Do I have a second, please?
I'll second it.
Second, Ms. Vancheck. Any discussion? Hear none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries 5-0. 11.3, program number 6, task order number 10, a letter of completion, time and materials task order, emergency remedial efforts, both design and construction for repairs to roof at Bayer Area Office. Need a motion to approve, please.
I'll move it.
Ms. Vancheck makes a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Ms. Gardner. Any discussion? Hear none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries 5-0. 11.4, program number 6, task order number 15, GMP for gymnasium floor replacement at Crestview High School, Davidson Middle School, and Lewis School. I need a motion to approve, please.
Move it.
Dr. White makes a motion. Do I have a second, please?
I'll second it.
Second, Ms. Vancheck. Any discussion? Hear none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries 5-0. 11.5, program number 6, task order number 4, GMP for Pryor Middle School kitchen renovation. I need a motion to approve, please.
Move it.
Dr. White makes a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Second, Ms. Vancheck. Any discussion?
I just want to point out how this, I hope the public is realizing how we're managing our money here, because we had some funds out of the Baker Kitchen that we moved over, and I'm sure this will come out too in the sales tax oversight group, the way we're doing this. I think we're doing a very good job of utilizing our funds we're good stewards of this money, and it's great to see, and this is another way we're transparent and showing how we're doing these multiple things with the funding. So just wanted to point that out.
And I appreciate you saying that, Ms. Vancheck, is I had a constituent today make the same remark about the signs in front of the schools, and it was great to be able to see the progress.
Right.
All right. Any other discussion? Hear none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Section 12, Information Technology Seat Management Contract. We have no business under there tonight. So 13 is attorney's business. Mr. McInnes, I'll turn it over to you.
No report tonight.
Thank you, Mr. McInnes. 14 is superintendent's business. 14.1, out-of-state student trip request, and 14.2, Mr. Chambers, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Bryant, School Board. I think, as you know, on Thursday, we gave a more lengthy report, so I'm just going to let that stand as it may. But I do want to talk about 2 quick topics. One, as you know, we had our accreditation visit last week, and our accreditation visit happens once every 5 years. And now the person who's responsible for overseeing the accreditation has 10 days to write their report, and then another 30 to 60 days to get us that report. So we're eagerly awaiting that. I will say in our exit conference, it was a very good meeting, and I think that we will expect a very favorable report. One of the statements made in the meeting was there'll be a score that will be tallied. And looking back over the last 5 years as they do their reports, and they take in all the districts, we are going to do exceedingly well in comparison to where districts might fall within the accreditation. They interviewed almost 200 and I'll just say almost 300 individuals, and they had never interviewed that many. And that was their words. They've never interviewed that many. And as you know, when they do accreditation, they speak with myself and senior staff, they speak with board members, but more importantly, they speak with schools. They speak with students, they speak with parents, they speak with teachers, they speak with administrators. And they were just very complimentary of what they saw here. So I'm eagerly looking forward to that report. When you go through a 5-year accreditation process, so to speak, and you know the hard work that you've put in and the vision going forward, so eagerly looking forward to that report. And I'll definitely share that once that report comes in. And then secondly, I'm going to talk a little bit more vaguely because it's dealing with student safety. And I do want to say that last week we did have a student safety event. And I just want to point out just a few things, because I know sometimes individuals don't like the perimeter fencing. I know sometimes individuals don't necessarily like single point of entry. But I've talked about, and I'm sure you have as well, taking into account when it comes to safety, having multiple measures in place. Not just one measure, but multiple measures. And as you know, there are many of these measures that we can't talk about for safety reasons. But I will say in this situation, perimeter fencing worked for us. Single point of entry worked for us. Having an SRO on every campus worked for us. Having an upgraded radio system worked for us. Having video cameras worked for us. And then also the Say Something, Tell Someone campaign. We had, I won't go there, but we had individuals who said something which led to us having a very successful outcome. So though you'd never want to ever have any incidents, it's very important that we take all safety protocols seriously. We take safety drills seriously. And when we see something, say something. And that's all I wanted to say.
Anything else?
That is it.
All right. So now we'll move down to section 15, board members' announcements and requests for information. And 15.1 is the submission of the Peggy Gorday Bruner Award ballots. So if you brought those, we'll just pass them down to Ms. Crawford there. And now we'll go down to board members' announcements and requests for information. And I will start with Dr. Kelly tonight.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Well, I do have a few announcements. First of all, just a reminder that the Jerry Melvin Scholarship, which is $1,000 for a high school senior, that information is ready and up for application. If you're interested, go to rcocscholarship@gmail.com, and they will email you back some more information. Also, congratulations again to London Taylor on being named the new Distinguished Young Woman of Florida. That happened over the weekend. Congratulations to Edge Elementary's first LEGO League team for earning the Engineer Excellence Award and being able to advance on to the state level. And I'm looking forward to the Panhandle Week of Events with Dr. Greg Hudnall, who's founder of the Hope Squad. And as you know, we have that program here in our own district and in several other Panhandle districts. That's the peer-to-peer youth suicide prevention program. And he will be here for almost a week. And I'm giving to you, my colleagues, some handouts that will show you the various times and places that he will be, and look forward to having him here and to serving as one of the co-hosts, along with Ms. Brockman, of him being here in our district and neighboring districts that whole week, beginning on Tuesday this week. And that's all I have.
All right.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
All right. And Dr. Kelly, I just would like to say thank you for your diligence in getting this, helping get this program recognized in our school district, and to all the people who have been affiliated in getting this done. And I know when I visit schools, it's pretty cool to see all the posters that are up throughout the schools. So the message is getting out there, and we appreciate your service to this committee here.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. It's my honor.
All right. So I'm going to go to Ms. Evanchik next.
Great, thank you. Before I do my announcements, I have a question that was actually asked to me, and I don't know what the answer is. You know, we all know that we've had a lot of controversy about electric usage rates, and I was just curious how that is affecting us. And I'll throw that out to anybody who is excited to answer that.
Well, I'll answer that briefly.
Okay,
And I'll
yeah.
say that we have met with Florida Power and Light. We do anticipate an increase. What was shared with us will probably be a significant increase, but we will work with Florida Power and Light, Mr. Horton and his group, on measures that we can take to mitigate that. But we did have a meeting to discuss it and started the process of opportunities to mitigate that increase.
So what you're saying is we're working on ways to, I want the public to understand that when that happens, we already have a budget. And we have to find ways to pay the bills like everybody has to. And so we'll be looking at those different ways. And of course, as our new budget comes up for the next year, that will be a part of it. But I don't think the legislature is going to send us any additional funds for that. Do you think?
Well, we can continue to ask.
We can, yeah, that's fine, like everything else. Thank you for that. All right, a couple of things. First of all, on Saturday, as you all know, I represent our board on the Public Schools Foundation, and we had our second annual College and Career Fair. It was spectacular. We had more than 50 vendors and over 200 students. And when you get high school students to get up early on a Saturday, you better be having something good happen, and we did, and it was fantastic, and so many people to thank. Of course, Mr. Horton is our executive director, does a great job. Debbie Tate is really the person who keeps all the pieces together. She does a fabulous job. But one of my tasks that day was to go around and make sure all of our community vendors were okay, didn't need anything. And as I was thanking them, being on that foundation board, they were thanking me back, saying they appreciate so much having that opportunity to meet with those students because they have no other venue to get to do that. And so they were there early, and I saw true engagement. It wasn't just, yeah, okay, talking to the parents. We had a lot of parents there. It was just a great event, and if we continue to grow, we're going to outgrow our venue and have to look somewhere else. But very proud of what our foundation's done, and a lot of volunteers. It takes many people to pull that day off, but it was a great thing. Mr. Chambers, you came by, and we appreciate that, and lots of neat things. So great thing we should be proud of. And then after that, I went on over to an archery tournament. It's the first one I've attended over at Destin Middle School, and this one was for state qualifying. And these kids really have it going on, and I just want to announce that Meg's, Destin Elementary and Middle School, Choctaw, and Fort Walton Beach High School all qualified for state as teams, and many other schools had individual students qualify. So they're heading to state to shoot those arrows, so that's pretty cool. Then also, our music groups are going through their MPA, which is the Music Performance Assessment. Today I got to see the Baker, that's my school, chorus perform. It was fabulous, and the director, Mr. Stuart Campbell, let me know that they did receive all superiors. I'm sure a lot of other schools too, but I don't have that information. But I want to say something special about Mr. Stuart Campbell up there at Baker. He actually is the director for all secondary music. He does middle and high school choral groups and middle and high school all the band groups. He's the only director in our district that covers all that. And he has a lot of energy and is a dynamic teacher, and is always fun to be around him. The other thing is, this last week was Scholastic Journalism Week. That kind of holds a special place to me because for about 30 years I was a journalism teacher in this district, and enjoyed that. And of course, Miss Demers, who's our public relations and does all our social media, she's a product of our journalism program here, so that's great. And then board members, a couple of meetings ago, I questioned the superintendent about looking into using the GoFan app. And thank you, sir, for getting that out to the principals. And I just wanted to report to you that I have spoken with every high school principal about this topic. And I had two concerns. One, that we had no one, particularly a student, turned away from any of our events because they couldn't do the GoFan app, and that we were not losing revenue. And so after speaking to every single one of them, they have assured me that they found ways to let anyone who wants to come into an event come in, and that as far as they can see with their numbers, we've not lost any revenue in any of our programs. Now, the two north end schools are north of Baker and Laurel Hill. They are still doing some paper tickets because internet use up there is shady. And I know the county, Okaloosa County, is working on that, getting those, that, what do you call that? Broadband, I don't know what you call that, that connection up there, to get better. But at this time, it's very hard sometimes to even get cell service up there. So they're continuing with some of that, and so I just wanted to give you a report on that. And finally, as you can see with my hat there, it's Read Across America Day come Wednesday. A lot of our schools are having, maybe some of y'all are going in to read. Over at Florosa, the elementary school I represent, they're having a literacy community night on Thursday night. And they're asking the community to come in and do some reading and be with the students. So good week for getting some reading. So looking forward to that. And thank you for letting me say a lot of things, but I wasn't here Thursday, so I'm extra time. Thank you.
Well, since you went over your allotted time, let's go ahead and put the hat on.
Okay, hey, you know that won't bother me.
And just so the public knows, there is no allotted time. So there you go.
Yeah, there you go. All right, thank you.
Ms. Gardner?
Just a shout out to the Fort Walton Beach High School Winter Guard. They, the JV received third place recently at a competition, and also the varsity received second place. We have quite a few students hitting that state championship or state finals over there. We have 3 Vikings that are heading over for weightlifting: Cedric Farrow, Spencer McKenzie, and Landon Burbridge. And I guess the games start on Thursday, this coming Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So we wish all of those boys the best of luck, but also to their teammates that really did work together. They placed 4th in the regionals, but good luck to that team. And also we have the Stars. Fort Walton Beach High School Stars will be competing this Saturday for nationals. We may want to work out some type of a bus transportation system, because from all of the schools, we have students that are participating in these events, and we wish them well, and also state travels. As a previous media specialist, I know Dr. Kelly was also, whenever I see that Dr. Seuss hat right there, I do get excited with it. I will be at schools reading also, and I just want to say our teachers do a fantastic job in promoting reading and bringing the joy of reading to our students. So may see at some of those places, Ms. Ivanchek. But that's all.
All right, thank you, Ms. Gardner. And Dr. White.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And as Ms. Gardner spoke about state championships, I'd like to express congratulations to Choctawhatchee's archery team, who took first place in regionals and are heading on to state championships. And then the last one is the Choctaw Winter Guard, earned first place out of 19 teams at Pace High School, Florida, this past weekend. So congratulations to all of them.
Great.
So first, second, and third went to Okaloosa County, because
Yeah,
Fort
that's
Walton
good.
was second.
That's
So-
awesome.
Awesome, good,
Good job.
awesome, good.
Thank you, Dr. White. Yep. So, and I will finish up, and I'm reading off of Crestview High School's Facebook page, so I'm not going to announce everybody that's on here from the HOSA Emerald Coast Region Spring Leadership Conference. 92 CHS students attended Pensacola State College for the 2-day conference and competition, and the HOSA team has a large group that qualified to compete at the Florida HOSA State Leadership Conference in April. And I had the opportunity to go visit Dr. McKenzie in her class the other day, and they were all really excited about it. But I'm going to announce the first place winners and in their categories. So the HOSA Bowl, Crestview placed first, and those students were Joanna Green, Marta Elliott, Kalia Hoffman, and I hope I pronounced this right, Yoon-Hoo Kim. If not, I apologize. Healthy Lifestyle, first place, Naomi Barr. Job Seeking Skills category, first place, Taylor Singleton. Public Service Announcement category, first place, Aubrey Tu, Hongalin Tran, Aaron Bates, and Jacob Moulton. And then Community Emergency Response Team, first place, Kaylee McCord and Chloe Moser. Home Health Aid, first place. Again, I apologize if I'm butchering the name, Tiana Houghton. And then Clinical Nursing category, first place, Bethany Touchton. Biomedical Laboratory Science, first place Kyla Lloyd. And Health Career Photography, first place Asia Malone. Community Awareness, first place Isabella Parker, Lita Jerdigan. And Veterinarian Science, first place Marielle Adar. And Medical Reading, first place Marissa Moran. Forensic Science, first place Ashlyn Hill and Alexis Woodward. And CPR First Aid Skills, first place Mercy Wood and Idaliz Guadalupe. And Physical Therapy, first place Maya Stokes. And Emergency Medical Technician, first place Olivia Keith and Jocelyn McTier. That's a lot.
Yeah, it is. That's
So,
fantastic.
But if you go to the Crestview High School Facebook page, you can look this up and see all the other students that are also going to qualify. And so really exciting to see that. And of course, I mentioned the other day, congratulations to the Crestview boys basketball team. They made it to the Sweet 16, but unfortunately didn't make it past there. But really excited for Coach Greg Watson and his boys. They had a great season, played with a lot of heart and spunk, and they were a scrappy bunch. And but next year they'll be playing on a brand new basketball court, so I expect the state title coming
That's
home.
right.
on
You
that.
got a new court, you got to win.
So with that, we'll move down to section 16, public comment. 16.1, members of the public desiring to address the school board forum, MIS 5241, public input and/or discussion of agenda items. And this is the 2-minute version. Okay. And we'll go around the room. Dr. Hale, Ms. Lightbourne, Mr. Horton, Ms. Perry. All right, this meeting's adjourned.
Good job, Mr. Chair.
There you go.